Right now, you are traveling at 1,000 miles per hour. You don't feel it, you don't see it, but it is the only thing keeping our world in balance. Imagine if it stopped. Not forever, just for 5 seconds. Most people think we would just fall over. They are wrong. If the Earth slammed on the brakes right now, it wouldn't just be a bad day. It would be the most violent 5 seconds in the history of the universe. Let's look at the physics. The Earth spins at the equator at roughly 1,000 miles per hour, about 1,600 kilometers per hour. Everything on the surface, you, the trees, the skyscrapers, the oceans, is moving at that exact same speed. We are all locked in momentum. If the planet stops, we do not. Newton's first law of motion takes over: inertia. In a fraction of a second, everything not attached to bedrock would be launched sideways at supersonic speeds. That includes you. You wouldn't even have time to realize what happened. You would instantly be turned into a supersonic projectile traveling faster than a bullet. Cars, houses, entire forests scraped off the surface of the planet like dust off a spinning top. But the human cost is just the beginning. The atmosphere keeps moving. Even if you anchored yourself to the ground, you wouldn't survive the wind because the rotation has stopped. The air is still spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. This isn't a hurricane. The strongest hurricane ever recorded had winds of around 200 miles per hour. This wind is 5 times faster. It is supersonic. Imagine the shockwave of a nuclear bomb, but continuous and everywhere. This wind would scour the surface of the Earth clean. It would pulverize concrete. It would tear mountains apart. Fires would erupt globally, instantly, fueled by the friction of the air itself. The entire planet would turn into a blast furnace. This isn't a hurricane. The strongest hurricane ever recorded had winds of around 200 miles per hour. This wind is 5 times faster. It is supersonic. Imagine the shockwave of a nuclear bomb, but continuous and everywhere. This wind would scour the surface of the Earth clean. It would pulverize concrete. It would tear mountains apart. Fires would erupt globally, instantly, fueled by the friction of the air itself. The entire planet would turn into a blast furnace. But imagine the horror. You look out the window. The ground below you is blurring, tearing itself apart. Cities are vanishing in a cloud of dust and fire. You are safe in the sky, but you have nowhere to land. The airports are gone. The runways are rubble. And higher up, on the International Space Station, the astronauts would watch in silence. They would see the blue marble turn brown and gray in a matter of seconds. They would be the last witnesses of humanity, drifting in the void, watching their home disappear. Back on Earth, the oceans are obeying the same laws of physics. Water is heavy, and right now, billions of tons of it are moving east. When the rotation stops, that water keeps going. We are not talking about a tsunami. We are talking about a global oceanic displacement. Waves literally kilometers high would crash onto the continents. The Atlantic Ocean would slam into Europe and Africa. The Pacific would swallow the Americas. Everything the wind didn't destroy, the water would erase. These megatsunamis would travel inland for hundreds of miles, scrubbing the continents down to the bedrock. And finally, the Earth itself would scream. The planet is not a perfect solid rock. It is an oblate spheroid. It bulges at the equator because of the spin. If the spin stops, the bulge collapses. The tectonic plates would shatter. Every volcano on Earth would likely erupt simultaneously. Massive earthquakes, magnitudes we have never seen before, would ripple across the globe. The shape of the planet would physically change, trying to become a perfect sphere. And then, 5 seconds are up. The Earth starts spinning again. Gravity stabilizes. The atmosphere begins to settle. The sun continues its path across the sky. But the world we knew is gone. In just 5 seconds, civilization has been reset to zero. No electricity, no internet, no cities, just ruins, silence, and the survivors struggling in the aftermath. We take the spin for granted, but it is the invisible engine of our existence. So the next time you watch a sunset, remember, you are on a spaceship moving at 1,000 miles per hour, and you better hope it never stops. This was a simulation by NextEon. If you want to explore more what-if scenarios suitable for Type 3 civilizations, hit the subscribe button. What scenario should we simulate next? Tell us in the comments below.